All right. Well, good morning, Rotary District 7770. Welcome to Conversations with Rotary Action People for Monday, November 8th. My name is Donald Hovis, your CWRAP host. I'm from the Chicora Rotary Club here in Myrtle Beach. Today, we're going to be learning all about and talking all about Brookgreen Gardens and their wonderful Nights of 1,000 Candles event, which I know is getting ready to start. You can tell when the weather changes, it's time to go see the lights. So joining us this morning is their marketing director, Lauren Joseph. I know Lauren, she is a great person, and I'm excited to have her talk about Brookgreen here in a second, but let's kick it off with some announcements first. I will then read your bio, Lauren, and then you can share your screen. I would like to give a special shout out to Mary Gask from the 5 Points Club in Columbia. She sets up all of our speakers. I did give her a suggestion a while ago about having someone talk about Brookgreen Gardens. So thank you, Mary. Appreciate all you do. And you'll be hosting next week. So practice up. Good luck. You'll do fine. I know you will. So those of you on here, I would like for you to post in the chat box with obviously your name, your Rotary Club, and answer 2 questions. The first question is, do you already have your holiday decorations up? Yes or no? Because some people here in Myrtle Beach decorated the day after Halloween. And question number 2 is, have you ever been to Brookgreen Gardens Nights of 1,000 Candles? So your first question is, do you already have your holiday decorations up? If you say no, I want to know, when do you put them up? Do you wait after Thanksgiving? Are you putting them up before Thanksgiving? And then question number 2 is, if you ever been to Nights of 1,000 Candles at Brookgreen Gardens. So real quick, here is a little bio on Lauren Joseph. Lauren Joseph joined Brookgreen Gardens in February 2017 as Director of Marketing. She earned a BA in Theater Arts from Furman University and an MBA in Marketing from the University of Phoenix. We were just talking about Phoenix. How about that? She has worked in tourism marketing for over 20 years, beginning with LHWH Advertising in Myrtle Beach, which is like 2 miles south of where I am right this second. And before Brookgreen as the tourism marketing director for Georgetown County, South Carolina. Lauren is a native South Carolinian who grew up in Mullins. She's been a full-time resident of Georgetown County for the past 39 years and vacationed along the Grand Strand all of her life. She and her husband, Al, now live in Georgetown, where Al serves on the city council. They have 3 grown children and 3 gorgeous granddaughters, of which Lauren is always glad to share photos. Let's give a warm welcome and say hello, Lauren Joseph.
Hi, folks. Thank you so much for having me. It's an exciting time of year here. It's really busy, and we have started. Well, actually, we didn't start Nights of 1,000 Candles just a few weeks ago, putting the lights up. We started at the end of August. But let me share my screen with you, and we'll show some beautiful pictures. And get my PowerPoint going.
I see it. Looks
Hold
good.
on. I just got to make it go now. So Brookgreen Gardens was founded 90 years ago. This is our 90th anniversary. The Huntingtons came and they bought this wonderful piece of property back in the 1930s. And in 1931, they actually incorporated Brookgreen Gardens as a nonprofit corporation. It is 9,100 total acres. A lot of folks don't realize that Brookgreen Gardens actually owns the Huntington Beach State Park. But that is part of our property, and we lease that to the state of South Carolina. Sandy Island is also, at least half of Sandy Island, about 1,500 acres, is also part of Brookgreen. And then the gardens are 4,500 acres, and about 50 acres of that is actually places that you can go and see and that folks are able to walk around. And when Anna first started, when they first came here, there was, if you've ever been to Brookgreen, you know about Oak Alley. And Oak Alley is this beautiful line of oak trees that goes all the way from Huntington Beach State Park in Atalaya, all the way across the highway and down into the river here on the Brookgreen side. Well, she decided to lay out a beautiful garden around Oak Alley. And the photo that's up there now, you can see the butterfly in it. So when you come to the garden sometimes, and if you come for Nights of 1,000 Candles, sometimes folks who are giving you directions will say, well, you need to go to the upper left wing or the lower right wing. And they're not talking about politics. They're talking about this butterfly layout of the gardens. So just a few folks, pictures of the gardens and the beautiful horticulture that we have here. We are an award-winning botanical garden, in addition to being the major museum of American figurative sculpture in the country. So in the wintertime, we have different plants. And then of course, we also have Nights of 1,000 Candles, which I'll get to super quickly, but this is one of the ones that it's a fatsia. And everyone asks me about it when I'm out working at Nights of 1,000 Candles, because it looks like something that would be growing in Whoville. And of course, we have a wonderful camellia collection that we are continuing to grow. We have a camellia walk that goes alongside Jessamine Pond, which is right near my office. And I think we have about over 100 different camellia species. So it's definitely, there's something blooming in the wintertime, even at Brookgreen Gardens. And in this picture, those beautiful yellow flowers are swamp sunflowers, and they also bloom in the fall and the winter. The sculpture that's on this picture to the right of the woman with the holding the fawn and the deer next to her, that is one of the first sculptures that was added to the collection. When the Huntingtons first started Brookgreen, it was the 1930s, and they had been very successful. Anna had been successful in her own right as a sculptor, and Archer had been successful as a scholar and also had inherited quite an estate from his father, Hollis Huntington, and they were the railroad Huntingtons. So they took it upon themselves here in Georgetown County to not only build this wonderful garden, but to use local people to build it. They began to add to the collection more than just Anna's sculptures, because at that time it was the beginning of the Depression. It was right in the middle of the Depression, and sculptors weren't getting commissions anymore. The people who had been commissioning sculptures had lost it all in the great market crash. So they started commissioning sculptures to help artists make it through this lean time. And again, the local folks here were served by the Huntingtons by electricity. First came to the Waccamaw Neck because of the Huntingtons. And healthcare first came to the Waccamaw Neck because of the Huntingtons. And a lot of jobs came here because they did not bring people in to build Atalaya or build Brookgreen Gardens. They hired folks that were here locally. Nights of 1,000 Candles. This is our 22nd year of this event. We started in 1999. And it was that year, it didn't have that name. It was the Luminaria Festival. And really, it was just in one main part of the garden. And it was all about luminaries. And we didn't have many lights other places, but lots of those, bags with sand and candles in them. And the next year, we added more. And that's when it became Nights of 1,000 Candles. And it's grown every year. And much like our tagline for Brookgreen Gardens, it is ever changing and simply amazing. If you've been to Nights of 1,000 Candles before, you may think, oh, I don't need to go back, but there's always something new. The Christmas tree is up in the top corner of this, the blue and white. These are new, are not really new, but they're old enough now for us to really decorate them, and a beautiful grouping of evergreens that are going to be the scene of our tree lighting every evening this year. It's 6:45 every evening. We'll have a caroling and a little ceremony, and someone will flip on the switch and turn on the big trees. The brown sculpture court is the one that you see with the white poinsettias and the red cranberries. That pool holds 530 pounds of cranberries. And we have them shipped down, I think from Vermont, and float them in that pool, and it fills it so well that every year we have someone walk into it and think that it's going to be solid. So we have to station a volunteer right there to say, no, it's a pool, they're floating. But it's a beautiful display, one of my favorite spots with those beautiful colors. The wrapped oak tree, we wrap every tree we can get to. So even though our candles, we're over 1,000 candles. We really have about 2,900 candles. But when I asked our main person, John McGann, who's our main designer of Nights of 1,000 Candles, how many lights he uses, electrical lights, he can't even tell me. He says millions. So I know it's at least 1 million, probably less than 2 million, but somewhere in between there, because it takes quite a few strands of lights to wrap a tree completely like this. And as you come into the gardens, you're going to see numerous trees wrapped in this fashion. And again, it takes a long time. We started wrapping trees the end of August this year. So one tree like this may take 2 to 3 days for a team of 3 or 4 to work on. So if you've come to Nights of 1,000 Candles before, you may remember that we had this huge holiday tree. It's a China fir tree, over 75 feet tall, and we would light it up with hundreds of thousands of lights. We have retired that China fir tree. China firs only live to be about 75 to 80 years old, and this one is nearing the end of its lifespan. So due to its age and some other health issues, which I think we can all understand, it has been retired. But we have been able to do some amazing uplighting on it. So it's still going to be featured. The picture that you'll see of the blue lights on it, or how the uplighting is going to look this year. And that's really the first night that they had done it. So these are from installation photos. So it's going to be a little different, but we are a botanical garden above all. And this China fir is an amazing specimen. It's an amazing tree of this type. And so we need to do everything we can to keep it healthy for years to come. Live Oak Alley. This is everyone's favorite. I call this the most romantic spot in the gardens. And that's because we have about 30 to 35 proposals here every year. We'll be in there. There's always someone there working, and we will be there. And all of a sudden, the proposal will break out over here. We've had flash mob proposals. We've had all kinds of fun things, and it's really just so gorgeous. We use about 5.5 to 6 miles of extension cords in putting up Nights of 1,000 Candles. And a lot of them are in Oak Alley. So it's just enchanting when you walk in, and the pictures really don't do it justice, but it is so, so beautiful. And hold on, I got off of that. Here we go. This is one of our most favorite places for so many people. This is the Fountain of the Muses garden. This particular sculpture, it's a group of sculptures, obviously, in this fountain, and It came to Brookgreen from the Metropolitan Museum in New York in '86, I believe it was installed here. It had been in the food court area at the Met, but the pool up there was leaking down to the first floor, and so they ended up deinstalling it. And Carl Millis, who is the sculptor of this beautiful work, had always wanted it to be outdoors. The Brookgreen connection to New York and the sculpture world is very strong. And at one point, I think at the point that we got this, we may have had a board of trustee in common, but somehow it was worked out and Brookgreen was able to acquire this beautiful fountain of the Muses. And it's a favorite spot every year with these gorgeous lights that are, hanging from above, but because of the fountain, it's reflected again in the bottom. Another good place for proposals. And then we've invented some things. I have now seen a lot of these things be used in other places. And let's see what they say. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But the mason jars with lights hanging from the trees is a favorite. This wonderful little cupola in the children's garden was built several years ago by our volunteers. And the children's garden is all different colors and fun. Each of the different gardens has a different theme. And one of the things that is important about Nights of a Thousand Candles is we don't hire people from the outside to come in and put up holiday lights. We have a group of folks who work here. They are full-time staff, and they work with the sculpture, with the art, with the surroundings and all of the gardens to make it fit and really complement what is here in the gardens and the art that's here. So it's not laid on top of, but it's integrated with. And that's one of the things that I think makes Nights of a Thousand Candles really, really special. So we do still have tickets available. We do have a few nights that are already sold out. The Saturdays are going fast. The dates for 2021, we start the day after Thanksgiving, but that day and the Saturday are already sold out. There are still tickets for Sunday. And then we go through the 2nd of January. Now, particularly some folks who live here all year long that maybe have said, oh, I came to Nights of a Thousand Candles 5 years ago. It was so crowded. There were too many people. I don't want to go back. The Nights of a Thousand Candles preview benefit is for you. This is on November 20th. It is a benefit for the education programs of Brookgreen Gardens. We do a number of different educational programs, from adult education to homeschoolers to, we have all of the 4th graders in Horry and Georgetown County come to us each year for a segment of South Carolina history, and they do learn about enslaved Africans, learn about the rice fields, learn about all of that part of South Carolina history here at Brookgreen Gardens. We also have a wonderful children's discovery room, so there are lots of things that this benefit goes to fund those efforts. And it's $125 a ticket. Your food is included, your drinks are included, and it's a very exclusive and adult-only evening. So if that's what you're looking for to kick off your holiday seasons, please head over to brookgreen.org, NOTC_preview. And if you just want to come to Nights of a Thousand Candles, brookgreen.org/1000 candles. So that is my presentation. And if anybody has any questions, I am glad to answer.
Thank you, Lauren. I did see a couple questions posted in the chat. So let's
I answered the one about tickets. Generators as backups. We do have some generators for safety lights. So if something happened and we lost power, we do have safety lights that are on generators that would come on.
Does anyone else have a question? We'll allow you to come off of mute and ask Lauren if you have a question.
I've got one more. How much are the tickets for the regular Nights of 1,000 Candles?
Tickets for the regular Nights of 1,000 Candles are $30 for non-members and $25 for members, for adults.
And you said the preview is 125, is that right?
Yes, the preview is 125, but that includes your food and your drinks. If you're coming to regular Nights of 1,000 Candles, we actually have, 5 different options for food. And our Brookgreen beverage stations will be around that you can buy soft drinks, beer, wine, but we have a sit-down restaurant called Harvest that you can make reservations and have dinner there. We have Inlet Affairs that will be doing an outdoor buffet of Low Country favorites. And we've got 2 different food trucks that will be here every evening as well.
I have a question. Lauren, I imagine you get a lot more visitors this time of year than normally. So how many people do you think actually go through the garden during this?
Last year, for the entire month of December, no, not last year, 2 years ago, pre-COVID, but for the entire month of December, we had 72,000 guests at Brookgreen Gardens. If we sell out every night this year, we will have, not counting the days that we're only open during the day, the days we don't have Nights of 1,000 Candles. But we expect to have anywhere between 63 and 65,000 people this December.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. It is the biggest fundraiser for Brookgreen. Now, we are a 501c3 organization, and so this is our really important time of year to make the money. It costs a lot to feed the animals and keep up sculpture and mow the grass. And, we're having the same struggle that a lot of places are having with a new workforce that doesn't want to work for less money. So, and as a nonprofit, it's really tough.
It's a gorgeous garden, though. I mean, if you've ever been, you will go back again.
Yes. And that's why memberships are great. If you live locally or even down in Mount Pleasant, if you're going to come with your family, even twice, household membership is only $125, and that's an annual membership. You come during the day all year for free, and you get discounted event tickets. So it's a really good deal.
I had a question about conservation efforts. I think
Sure.
when Paige was speaking to our club, she said something about there is some major conservation efforts. And I thought she said that you might be acquiring some additional space where you are. Is that wrong or right?
We have a lot of different conservation efforts. We conserve the longleaf pine forest around Brookgreen Gardens, do forest management. We are getting ready to embark on some forest management across the street and working with the state parks to do some work over there. That forest over there has not really had any forest management in a long time. And that's necessary for the health of the forest and to keep the possibility of wildfires down. So that's going to be starting in the next month. And we're adding some new things. We've had some wonderful donors who have come up and had great ideas for things that they wanted to add to Brookgreen, and those things are coming. And we are currently getting ready to add red wolves, which is the most endangered mammal in North America. And we will be part of a species conservation program to breed red wolves that can then hopefully be released back into the wild. And so our Brew at the Zoo event that happened this weekend was another fundraiser for that red wolf habitat that we will be building next year.
Excellent,
Mayor.
excellent.
Hey, Donald,
Yes, sir.
there was, when they first reintroduced the red wolves a number of years ago, they brought them down to Bull Island. And, they found that they were doing great, so great, in fact, that they were swimming away and they were going elsewhere. I'm curious how you plan to keep them there at Brookgreen so they don't crossbreed with other wolves and coyotes and things like that.
Well, our wolves here at Brookgreen will be in an enclosure and they will be in an enclosed habitat. So if we actually, the species survival program that we're working with is through the Department of Wildlife, National U.S. Department of Wildlife. So any wolves that are bred here that are released will be going somewhere else. They won't be staying here locally. But and I've read about, there's been concern about the wolf coyote crossbreed, but they really have not seen that in the ones that have been released in the wild so far. They've seen the red wolf staying within species, and red wolves are one of those, all wolves actually are one of those species that there is a cascading effect. They actually do help the environment and the ecosystem that they live in.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right, well, it's been nice to talk with y'all, and if you're done with me, I will head out.
Lauren, thank you so much. I appreciate your short notice agreeing to do this. I hope you're there to see the lights.
You're so welcome. Take care.
I will say one thing before Lauren jumps off, that if
Okay.
you're planning to come to nights, I'll give you a little bit of feedback. She probably would back me up on this. At least I would think she would. If you're going to Nights of 1,000 Candles, at least in my opinion, you want to get to Brookgreen before it's dark. You heard it.
Yes.
There's a reason why. Because if you get there after dark, you're sitting on Highway 17 trying to turn in. That's all I'm going to say, folks. Get to Brookgreen before it's dark. You heard it here first. All right. Lauren,
And
thank you.
get your
Good to see you.
tickets soon, because if you don't get your tickets, we'll be sold out.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. At this time, I know District Governor Paul came on. So, Paul, welcome and talk about the conference, sir.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry we had a little power outage here at the bank, and when the power goes out, security is not at its utmost level, so we have to shut the doors. Anyway, so I'm back, power's on. And it's sunny outside here in Hilton Head, which it will be sunny on March 11th through the 13th, which we'll have our all club conference. The Chamber of Commerce promises me that there will be sunny, not rainy. But we hope to have all of y'all join us at the Sonesta Resort, March 11th through the 13th. It'll be the Rotary Family Reunion. It's the first time that we've had an in-person conference in the last several years, so we're looking forward to that. Lots of speakers are being planned and fun. I want you to be able to come here on Hilton Head and enjoy it, knowing that you're on Hilton Head. So you have some free time on Saturday afternoon to go enjoy the sights and sounds of Hilton Head. The registration for hotel rooms is already up and available, and you can go into DACDB and find this information, and that we will soon hopefully have the information up so you could register for the conference as well. We've been waiting for some meetings to go on back and forth between the hotel and our planning committee, and that's now happened. So we're thinking that we'll have the registration soon, but should be a lot of fun here on sunny Hilton Head. Come join us.
And I know y'all have seen on the district Facebook page that Hanky Panky Williams Matheny is going to be entertaining us.
We may have special guests of Hanky Panky Matheny. We've now given him a new name.
Yep. Long lost cousin of Hank Williams Jr. You got it.
That's right.
All my rowdy friends.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. That was a great presentation. by Lauren. So if you haven't been to Brookgreen, definitely go check it out. I highly recommend it for sure. But remember, get there before dark. And if you have the opportunity to book the Harvest restaurant for dinner, that's what you want to do. So get before dark and book the Harvest restaurant. If you want the best experience of Brookgreen, I mean, I go every year with my family, so I'm only telling you from previous experience. Get there before dark. Book Harvest restaurant if you can get in. If you can get in. So that means call like today. All right. So as we wind down, I will say Bob Gross, District Governor elect Bob Gross, will be talking to us next Monday about his venture to the Cross Egypt Challenge. And I will not be here, so Mary Gask will be leading the call next week.
Hold on to your hats, guys.
On to your hats. I'm not sure what we have after that, but I do know Bob is up next week. I know Mary has booked some speakers, but I don't have the rundown. But look forward to your presentation, Bob. Hate I will not be here, but I will definitely watch the Facebook thing afterwards for sure. As well, you posted a lot of pictures on your Facebook page, so I know a little bit about your journey, but I'm excited to hear the stories. So with that being said, folks, appreciate you being here on this wonderful Monday. The sun is back out. Yes, thank you, Paul. It's a little chilly, but I think later this week it's going to warm up to the mid 70s. But have a great week, folks, and we'll conclude with the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great day, guys. We'll see you. I'll see you in 2 weeks, but you'll see Mary next Monday on the next Conversation with Rotary Action People. Take care, folks.
Bye, everybody.
That's a wrap. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys.